as much as I used to, though.
I think you're having to work all the time now, right?
Exactly.
What club is that?
8.
It's not short. Straight too. Very nice. You're hitting it good, huh?
It's still there.
Yeah, I can see.
It's still there.
Got some good acoustics too.
I like the sound.
It used to be a clipper of the ball back originally, Falcon head. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
But like even my miss hits, I'm not missing the center of the face very often.
Yeah, I can see.
I pull the ball. You know, I come down
Pull a little
on
bit.
top of it pretty hard. So
Which club would you pull it more with?
the longer they get, the more it pulls.
You gotta get more pull.
Yeah, my shorter clubs have always been good. My hardest problem with short irons is distance control,
Gotcha.
just from not playing a lot. I don't really hit a
Yeah,
lot of
and you're-
range balls. I just try to play as much as I can.
No, that's the that's the philosophy we come out of. But yeah, I think that the because you're such a long hitter that I think the problems with the short clubs are just the softness of the swing we need to work on. Certainly not the hardness. I mean, you certainly have a blend of soft and hard, but
Yeah,
it's
I can dial one down and show you a soft swing.
yeah.
All I do there is try to I try to feel my back and upper body round
Yeah.
and stay soft.
Soft with elbows and
And then
arms.
I just try to stay soft the whole way. And when
I mean, it was softer, so it's good.
if I try to belt it, I try to create more width.
Yep.
And try to hold that through.
Maintain the width.
Mm-hmm. But that soft shot works great if I'm trying to hit it low.
Yeah, like the last one. Like a flighted.
Like that.
Yeah, I like that swing right there better than probably the full swing, because it's not like you're. If you watch it live, like if you watch that video, you'd say, well, that looks like just a tour level full swing.
Yeah.
Because I think when you're full swing, you're thinking more like, kind of like you're thinking driver a little bit too much, like you're, and that swing
Making
for
a
driver,
driver swing.
Yeah, I think there's too much kind of raise of the spine, a little bit of reverse seat that you don't need, that you might need for the driver, but not the iron.
Yeah.
I think that the pull could come from there. But that swing and that trajectory you're hitting right there, which is just kind of a flighted shot, is going just as far, but it's so good. I mean, I like that a lot better, because you're on top of it, you never back out of it, you're not.
Yeah, I just kind of turn and then.
Yeah, it's a little softer, and you don't have as much run on with the arms in the finish.
Right.
So you don't have that superficial big finish that you don't need with irons.
Right.
And spine twist and all that. Hit a few more, and then with that, hit a couple more, and then we'll get rolling. And I love the move in general.
Is this that same swing, the soft one?
Yeah, the soft one, because that's what we're going to be working on. Like we're cheating. And that's it. I mean, if you went out and played today, anywhere you played in the world, whether they had hard greens or soft greens, that's the flight you would want, in my opinion, because you're not losing any distance because you took the trajectory down a little bit more. And if you've got a bunker in front of the green, you got a short flag, hard base green, like a U.S. Open style, you just go back to the big swing. Hit it high and hard.
Go back to the Rory.
Yeah, the Roy swing, because that's the ball flight you have naturally. But that one is the one where you're going to see Wes and the higher level ball strikers. That's the flight they come out on.
Gotcha.
flip the chain and see how we do just softening it up.
It's that same swing.
Yeah. I mean, I just think kind of like we were talking, what I was going to do is soften you up, and it's like you already went there. I mean, it's
I already know how to do it.
you already know how to do it. Obviously, being you know our style, but that I wouldn't go any more technical than that. I just think we got to soften the elbows and get the tension down. That's perfect flight.
So my soft swing is actually the good swing.
I think so, because you have hardness, and it's not like you're going limp with it. I mean, if you look at that, if I'm sitting there going, judging, is that a hard or soft swing? I'm sitting there going, that's both. I mean, there's a lot of power behind that, but you're not putting a lot of effort in.
No, I'm not.
And
I'm just
before, you know, when you see the swing, you can see the force, you know, and you're kind of showing your power. And I want you to always remember not to show it. Just keep them guessing. I love that one too. Only a little bit to the right, but that's still good.
Yeah.
Great flight.
Well, hell, I can do that all day. I should just
Yeah, that's not a hard.
switch over.
Yeah, because I mean, in your driver swing, you're going to want some of that too. I mean, I think, but you can go more of the big swing with it. But these are just kind of like, and you haven't hit it left yet. Not even close to hitting it left.
No.
It would be hard because hitting it left. It depends on every player. I mean, because you get into so many radical things what somebody does individually. But like with your swing, pulling muscles, tension is going to make you hit early with the backhand and make you hit it left as you go longer. And you can't hit it left from there. It's perfect. Let's go forearm. And then obviously, I mean, you're an instructor in what we teach and so forth, and have been for a long time. So you kind of know where we're going with this. But I'm going to have you, because we're on video, I want you to explain kind of softness here in a minute after you hit some.
Okay.
Kind of explain like when you talk about softness, what muscles you're softening, what you're really trying to do, so that the people know here. All right.
A little quick there.
I'd move the ball a little more forward. There you go. That'll keep you from rushing there. So I see a little more hit in that one instead of swing at the bottom. It's like you're trying to bust it like hard because it's a forearm, right? But your six was a softer through, and it's the frame of the swing, the backswing, the finish are all the same. But there's more hit directly at the ball versus the swinging through. So it's making you create a little more right hand. Try to just soften it up, everything through the shot, and let it flow. Like that was better, huh?
Yeah.
That was definitely better.
That's the baby cut.
Yeah, that's a money shot. And there was just not hit. And you just want to think through from this zone from here to here. There's no hit. It's just swing. It's just swinging and flowing.
Yeah, you just uncoil.
Yeah. But that one.
There it is.
Like that one?
Yeah.
I do. Flushed.
That was the feel.
Oh, beauty. More of a swing. It's beautiful. Let's hit one more, and then we'll talk about that, how you kind of went from where you were, and then how you soften it up, and what muscle groups, and all those things.
Okay.
Beautiful. Awesome shot, man. Dang, that's good.
That was probably the best one.
Yeah, that's good. Really good. All right, so if you're just demonstrating with a club, when you said, okay, when I hit my flighted shot, or I don't like to say knock down, but when it's lower and you're flighting the ball, what muscles did you soften up, and what all did you do, I guess is the question.
The main thing for me, when I think soft or trying to stay on top of it and just coil,
Yep.
I soften all of these
The lats.
muscles right here, left side of my back,
Okay.
left side of my core,
Gotcha.
and I feel like my left arm just kind of folds around it.
Okay.
Versus if I'm making a driver swing or something like that where I'm trying to get more distance, I try to feel a little more tension here and a little more extension
Yeah.
to
Kinda
create width.
a little more like Rory does. Like he firms up his left
Right.
side really hard before he swings.
Mhm.
Nicholas did it too as well. But
Yeah.
their left arm's not. Their left arm in general is not stiff. It's just straight. But
Exactly. Yeah.
core muscles in the side or on the lats and the core, the left side of the core obliques all the way down are starting or would be engaged, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So you do that, okay?
And I soften up. And it goes back to the frisbee drill.
Yep.
I really try to feel that if I have it with a club, that when I go back, everything just folds around like I've got a frisbee.
Kind of diagonally through the core, so you're loading diagonally through the core this way,
Mhm.
like we talked about.
And then to unwind, I just kind of go through and let everything go like I'm just unwrapping my body. I don't.
Kind of like you go from cooling to uncooling.
Right.
It's
I don't
like
think
that.
about it because if I do, then I'll hit at it, like you said, on a couple of those shots where
Right.
that right side comes in. You don't want that.
Yeah, the right hand.
But if I just unravel and turn through, it'll produce that low shot with good compression every time.
What about your shoulders? Do you try to soften those at all, or are they just already soft
I try to feel,
when you swing?
when I swing, I try to feel my shoulders just stay really soft.
Yeah.
Because if I pull them back and stay stiff, it's going to make me
Back bend to the
back
target.
bend and reverse pivot.
Yeah.
But if I feel kind of like the Tai Chi stance where you're hugging a tree,
Right.
that same feeling of just wrapping around.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
Turning around the center.
you get a
right?
full turn without even trying.
And your body stays like a lot of, like we talk about, some of this stuff is invisible energy. So if I hop in for a second, and we have the Tai Chi drill like you're talking about, where you're holding the tree out here like this. When you turn, all this is full and wide.
Mhm.
So you're keeping that versus somebody that's limp. They might bring those in, or they might superficially push away, and you start to lose distancing, right?
Mhm.
And so you're loading up and you're creating torque in between both feet like this, and you're keeping your space, which would be the golf swing, and that loads us diagonally through the core. And then you feel these muscles as you unravel coming back in and then through. So that's good, but I mean, just softening up the swing like that was amazing. Just what it did to make what you would consider your hard swing or whatever, your power swing, work even better.
Yeah, and like you said, it's hidden power.
Yeah, you don't show it, right?
Sneaky.
Don't show them. So, cool, let's hit a few drivers. I'll get you some tees. Power. That would work.
Let me do a soft swing
All right.
and just see how that works.
Gotcha. Looked good to me.
Yeah, it came out all right.
Yeah. The launch crushed it, right?
Good launch.
Like perfect launch. I think the softness, the reason why is the softness of the arm and the
Yeah,
shoulders.
and
right?
that won't snap hook either.
No.
The hard swing might carry just a touch,
Yeah, and if there's
But
too
it-
much pressure on the line, right? I mean,
but it's not worth it if I'm going out of bounds
no.
on the left if I miss.
I mean, what was your ball speed again? Measured at?
172.
Yeah, 172. So, I mean, you can play any golf course in the world. So it's not about ball speed now for you. It's just about the accuracy. That's a good one, too, though. It's a little draw there for money.
Yeah.
Hit one more.
And soft swing.
Gotcha.
Oh.
It's all right. Went a little right, but that's all right. Hit it again. Try another one.
Yeah.
Malachi.
I should practice that more with the driver.
I think so. You get a lot better height, and you can't hit it left with it.
Right.
Money.
Oh, if I could do that every time.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
That was
The money shot.
that was a good one.
So I guess just explain where, like, the Tai Chi, how it's helped you in your golf game with either power, precision, or balance, or stability, or whatever it may be.
Honestly, one of the main things for me is breathing.
Okay.
It taught me a lot about breath control, how to relieve tension.
Okay.
Because if you are really tight with your breath and you're holding it, or anything along those lines, your muscles will tense up, and then you're going to be looking at left or right because of that tension.
And the tension will cause the muscles to shorten, as we know as well.
Right.
And it will cause anxiety, which is not talked about from a golf swing perspective. Anxiety is a pre-hit. That's a early hit impulse. Anything that's going to cause you to hit before you got through the ball and all that with the left or the right hand. We know anxiety is a big cause of that, and it's not dealt with because people are trying to superficially fake that out with either bowing the left wrist or turning it down or pushing the right in or whatever, and they're not realizing that the club's being released early for a lot of reasons, mostly because you have chi blocks like we talk about where the energy won't flow through the body, so it's going to release out early, or you just have mental tension, which is anxiety. You're scared to death, and so you just dump everything out as soon as you get to the backswing.
Yeah, and you can't see that on video. I mean, you
No.
can't. You're not going to hear, you're not going to hear Costas going through a video analysis on TV and be like, "Oh, look, yeah, his breath.
Exactly.
He looks tight there."
Exactly.
But the other benefits from Tai Chi for me were learning how to be rooted in the ground.
Okay.
You learn.
Kind of demonstrate that a little bit because I think that's important.
So if I'm tense with my legs and I'm not rooted, and I've got all my tension up here in the chest, it's really easy for me to fall off my center, especially if my arms are tense. I'm going to go over here.
Right.
Or worse, if I don't have any
Movement at all.
I'm up here. So it really teaches you how to sink into the ground.
Yeah.
Like you just feel everything go straight down.
Yeah.
And when you do that, that's where that softness comes in, because now you're soft enough up here that you can just turn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Versus if I'm really tight, I can't really do it.
Yeah, you're not going to. And as you've seen, teaching Tai Chi as well, you've seen with your students where people, they think that they can't swing a golf club correctly, and they don't, typically. Then they get in a Tai Chi format, and they do the exact same pattern.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's literally the exact same. There's way too much tension. They backbend or reverse or this or move off or whatever, and they cannot coordinate their body either through circular movements or stability, which is dynamic posture for us. So that everything's kind of off. And I think that it helps find the Tai Chi helps find the center, the true center, but also more importantly than just find the rooting. We also know about the circular movements, and I think that helps is, those circular drills that we talk about in Tai Chi.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's when you watch somebody that doesn't have any footwork, and even you see it on the PGA Tour, that you don't see that true, there's very few players that have that beautiful footwork up through the knees, up through the hips. Because the hand, we know that the hands dominate, the club, timing dominates everything. But if they have there's a few players, and they're always the top ball strikers every year in, year out, and they have these circular movements through their feet, ankles, knees, hips, up, and it has that softness to it. It doesn't have that linear punching action and so forth. And I think that, Tai Chi really covers that as well. You got any patterns there you learned that would demonstrate that at all?
I think the most basic pattern we taught a lot in our classes is just the basic ready posture, and then bringing that left arm up.
Yep.
And then hooking it.
Yep.
And then we just turn around that soft base.
Yep. Keeping the distance.
Drop it down and hold the baby.
Yep.
And then you just unwrap everything through.
Absolutely.
And pull everything. And I'll get my students to do that a few times. Sometimes I'll have to actually grab their arms and shake them loose, because there's such a tendency to hold your arms stiff, and they don't realize it until you actually grab them.
Yeah.
And shake it out, tell them relax, relax. let it go.
I think that's the big thing is whenever a player, whatever level is, you have to, because sometimes you have to feel them to see where the tension, and that's Tai Chi. There's when you have push hands and you learn all these other forms, you learn how to deal with, like, you can feel somebody, they're either limp, or that they're, the energy, what we call is full, which is the best, which is a blend of soft and hard, and then you got, obviously the hard side where you can't move at all. They're just fighting you. And the arms, we know, are designed to swing like an elephant's trunk, to have tremendous amount of power without a lot of effort. And the core and the legs and all that stuff, and the glutes, all that's designed to create stability so you can rotate around that and without losing balance and so forth. But yeah, I think that the circular pattern you just demonstrated is that's our number one. I mean, that's the one I teach all the time, obviously, and the one you learned.
The only other one that I use a lot is I'll get people to do, as they get a little bit more advanced, we'll get them to do the raise up, and then step down, and actually learn how to pivot
absolutely.
around that left side. Because, a lot of people, when they come down, they go
head first.
They go that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing in the golf swing if they're doing that.
Exactly. They move the same way.
So they learn how to actually
absolutely
turn around.
That was one we always
and lead with the lower body.
It opens up the hip flexibility too. So I'll show you that. That when you go into it teaches you when you go into the posture here, then you press down like this. As this opens, the chest stays centered here, and you learn how to swing the arms and the momentum in the body behind them. It comes up the center. Come back to the middle, right? So it's just up. Even if you don't go full knee, if you go full knee, that's fine. But if you just go up, this doesn't move. This stays centered. You're waiting on it. That would be the same as a golf swing. You're sinking, and you're starting to unwind. Here it goes here. One. Then the momentum of the swinging will pull the body around, just like it would if I'm here and I swing the arms down, and then the body comes in behind that to create that circular whipping. And then the drill you talked about here. This is distancing that we use all the time, so we keep this space and this width, because you do need a certain amount. You don't have to be here, but you need a certain amount of width here, and you sink and roll the hand down, hold the baby like this, and then this hand would be here, and you would just unwind, and they meet up and go. And then we know the other circular pattern that we do for coordination, because that's still, you'll see people do this really stiff, all kind of like a block, is just this one. Yeah. The silk reeling, where there's no stopping, but there is a control. You don't want your head going back, but we'll see that, right?
Oh, all the time.
I mean, you'll see guys doing this pattern going, is this right? You're like, not even close. But, we want this, the nose, or you could say the third eye, the sternum, and the belt buckle, they're working together to the right, and they're working together to the left, and they're always connected. So wherever they go. So it's like this. And you just follow the diameter of the core and work in the circular pattern, and that becomes, you don't want your arms out here in general in a golf swing, but what will happen is you go into the top of the golf swing, and you'll start to work circularly, and that's the footwork that I'm talking about right here without overusing the spine or whatever. So it's like this, and then all of a sudden that's a whip down at the bottom of the ball. Yeah. And what else you got there on that? Anything else? I mean, what about the kettlebells, I guess, would be the...
Kettlebell is huge. Weightlifting assistance. When you learn how to actually use your core, use your lower body, and learn how to whip the kettlebell up and over your head, and then create that lock where you've got your entire chain stabilizing that weight. It's very similar to the golf swing, where you're bringing the club up and creating that same type of position, and then you're unleashing all of that through the ball.
I'm going to grab a kettlebell real quick, and then I want you to demonstrate just a swing into the right position.
Okay.
Maybe just do swing to the rack position.
Okay. And with me, the swings, I mostly do one-armed. One-armed swings. It's important to use your other hand to still throw that
create
counterbalance.
You
don't want to lock it.
Balance.
Oh yeah. So that's my swing there. And then rack.
Yep.
You learn how to lock your hips and stabilize that weight.
Yep.
And have a soft chest.
That'd be the Tai Chi, the hollow chest.
The hollow chest. Yeah. And then you can just press up from there.
Right. And if you did that where you can see you from the side, you can see the hips hinge and the back bend down. And the hips would lock out at the top. And you go to the rack. You see the hips come through and all the pressure is right down the spine, hips forward. So you get stabilize the back and also the core muscles.
Yeah.
And but you know, with the kettlebell, the cool thing about a kettlebell versus like Olympic lifting is, you know, you've done a lot of Olympic lifting with CrossFit, and I've done that as well. But I can tell you that you know, you don't have the freedom with an Olympic weights as you do with like kettlebell. So if I demonstrate this, and I said, okay, I want to make some more specific golf patterns, I can go, and these are some patterns that I teach, you know, as you know. But I might go rack here, down and twist like in a lot of width here, bring this back, stabilize it, swing it through and through. I can do the same on the other side. I can go one to the rack, pivot, have this right shoulder down like we talk about here, and then swing it through. Do so many different things. I can take, if I don't have the silkiness and I want in my golf swing, if I have a student, I can have them just practice swings like this and then catch it and support it so they can feel the softness and the width that they need right there. So many different things that you can do with a kettlebell that you can't do with like a barbell. You know, you can have them learn how to move their hips and where they can feel the weight move their body. So I could be here like this. And if you're uncoordinated, you won't be able to do that. You'll swing it out here and try to turn and it won't work, right? But that's the cool thing is I can also take this. This is one of our moves that we teach from down the line. You'll see it where I just hold that in, take a swing, pivot, and hold this in like we call holding the baby. But we hold that back and you can see this is working across just like that. So we might go 1, 2, like this, just keeping it tight without doing the press or any of that, and work into a circle. So it would be, and so you're building those diagonal core muscles. So those are things you can't do with, you know, a power clean or Olympic bar, and so many different things. And then you've got the ones where we go overhead, more of a vintage press. So it's going to be a little bit more legs, a little more drop of the bell, and then you can feel all those muscles stabilize as well. But the cool thing is with the kettlebell, you can truly make a golf swing. There's times where I'll just take it up here like this, let it fall. I wouldn't recommend somebody to know what they're doing. Just let the weight fall. Body works underneath, so it looks like this. Now, if I do this wrong, I have too much separation in the hips, that bell is going to go all over the place. If I do all arm and no body, it's going to look really weird. The momentum won't be there to create that extension. So it's here, let it fall, body works underneath. And that I can feel like the ball and chain effect, so it's feeling like the energy or the distal end speed of the club is working away as the club is moving forward. So it's like this. And on the left side, I want to work on. I don't like to do this because it puts too much pressure on the shoulder here. But what we do, actually flip it, and we press it up this way, and then we push as we circle. This is really advanced. You push and circle, and it's like that. So you would go, flips it under here. You're not going to be straight. We don't want you to be. And then as you circle this way, you would push that forward. And when you push this forward like this, your body is circling and opening, but it's also creating a lot of tension in the core. And then the weight, the momentum, is making the arm swing without using a lot of tension. And as we know, when you do kettlebells, that it's not the arm is never about this is always like a whip. It's a swinger, right? The arms are always swinging. And the legs are, there's two swings as we know. There's one where you create power, hip hinge like that, the Russian style, or the Russian RKC style, and then you have the sport style, which is more of a kind of a rocking chair action like this, which is good for the knees, hips, back, everything. If you're wanting just raw power, you would probably train more where you just
hip hinge and stiffen up. If you want joint mobility and function, you might go more where you're looking. It looks like a lot more movement, but it's a rocking chair action. As we know in kettlebell sport, we might be swinging kettlebells for 10 minutes for a competition,
Right.
With 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds on each hand, and we have to hold and rest, and that's where the sport style comes in to give us true lifting with the least amount of effort as possible. So it's like all that movement in the golf swing would be more like this. So it would be, even though I'm not rooting and all that, it's just the true swinging. So then when I get to golf swing that I'm using, like you were talking about earlier, your arms to go, and you're not trying to be tense and spin out and all those things. So exactly. I think that's important for everybody that's watching to understand this. And the connection of the Tai Chi and the kettlebell, I think, is really important. And I'll let you come back in a second. You can show it how you've connected them. But what I've connected is, so we do the yin and yang symbol in Tai Chi, the heaven and earth. When we're doing some of these Qigong and Tai Chi exercises like this, we're doing the yin and yang symbol to just, one, meditate, but also create silking and just softness. I'm not saying it relates to the golf swing, but what's cool is when you go to a kettlebell, it's the same thing. If you look, it goes rack here, so there's that same thing. And then if you go, you can either go here, or you could even do it the other way, outside the leg, and for more of a strengthening of the mental side as well. So you're going to see everybody do kettlebell in between, but I do a lot of kettlebells also this way, because I can swing this if it's not, we don't use more than 20 pounds when we're really trying to get functionability. Maybe you go 40, 50 if you're trying to do lifting, but when I'm trying to do specific golf movements, I'm never going to use more than 20. So if I go here, I can go around just like this. I don't have to, see, if I go between my legs, I'm limited with how much I can rotate. I can't put it between my legs and really twist a lot. But if I swing this around here, I can load my glute this way, pull it into the rack as I'm circling, and there's impact. So this is true function and quickness and coordination. So I can go here, and I can do that on the other side. So it's like creating depth on the left side. So I can go one, so I load this hip, and as I do that, I don't need to swing it back up. I can just let it swing back and put my elbow across this way, which keeps me in the shot. So that's how I get the right shoulder forward. So I can get this back, and then that right movement forward, and that's a coordination movement. So it's a swing this way. And that teaches me how to attack the ball and get depth in my hips. So I'm building this muscle, coordinating the attacking side, and you're also getting a swing in between. So it starts to, when you take it away, you feel the momentum wants to go through there properly versus that. So those are a great way to just connect the Tai Chi and Qigong and Tai Chi kettlebells. I know you got more, so.
I know one of the other ones I like to do is just the side-to-side movement.
Yes.
Where you
swaying arms.
You learn how to counter the weight.
Absolutely. Core swings or swaying arms. It depends on which one you're.
And you learn if you do it like.
Yeah, because it doesn't look like that when we show somebody that the first time, right?
That's usually the first movement, is just kind of like guiding it with your arms, and then the weight's throwing you around instead of you throwing the weight.
And it goes, if you watch, you can go and keep swinging, you're seeing a circular movement and a pendulum swinging on both sides, right? Mm-hmm. You feel it. I mean, you're training from feet, knees, hips.
Oh, yeah.
Like that.
You have to dig your toes in.
If you ever stop the circular movement of the hips, then it's all, this will get out forward, or vice versa if you lead the other way, if you lead out with the hips, right, as you know.
Yeah, and that's me trying to fit.
Yeah, no, exactly.
The other stuff I do a lot is kind of balancing stuff like this.
Right. For grip strength and then
for grip strength, core stability, hold that. You can raise it up.
Yep.
And hold those. I think they call those like torch bearers.
Yep.
Or something along those lines. So I'll do those quite a bit.
It's also shoulder stability, arm stability, core stability. Yeah. It's not just grip strength.
And then similar to the ones you were doing, I do a lot of just basic.
Yep. Stand up higher, which would be that wouldn't be considered in golf posture, but it's still functional because you're moving circularly and forward.
Yeah, and that helps when I'm working with somebody who has posture issues,
Yep.
People are going to have a much harder time making rotations when they're in a golf over the ball posture. So for them, they might just be there because they're tense. But when you stand them up vertical, all of a sudden, if they're looking out straight ahead, they can turn around their spine much more easy if it's vertical.
Absolutely. Then
So
you kind of lower them gently into where they would be into posture with that.
Right. So I'll get them to do something like this, where they're standing tall. They'll unwind with the left side and just pull through and pivot onto their toe, because a lot of people, same thing, they stay flat-footed, they're back there. So it gets them to feel what it's like to put everything through the ball.
Absolutely.
And then when they get over the golf shot, I tell them, hey, same thing, just stand tall and relax.
Yep.
And you can still make that same movement.
That's right.
And then just swing around your body that way, instead of trying to make a perfect.
Yeah.
To them, they feel like they need to be crouched.
Yeah, they feel like they've got to.
And they get stuck.
They bend forward a lot, and as we know, you have to bend forward in the downswing. So you might be tall here. You can get away with being tall here. You're not going to be able to get away with being tall here. You know, you would have to get some downward motion this way, chest down and arms to in and left. But you know, you certainly can stand up, and we know you got spinal limitations and lat limitations and some of the other rotational limitations. That the more they bend or the wider their stance is, they're going to have massive problems with getting the chi to flow, right? So they might go a little softer stance, more upright, closer together, so they can turn better. They don't have to have this big wide range like we try to get. But if they don't have the mobility for it, you don't try to force it, because the wider you get them, the stiffer they're going to be, and that's going to create earlier energy than what we even had before, which is a no-go. So we soften them. But they can stand up a little taller at address here, and then as they go forward, they might go down towards the ball a little bit, because they can do it. It's amazing how you can do something dynamically, how you can start to go down and continue to move, versus if, in your backswing, when you're just trying to load, even though it's a dynamic motion, they don't move that way. No. If you get an amateur, but they can start to go down and forward and through the ball, and stay underneath the shot as they're pivoting, decent, as long as they're not whipping the shaft out like crazy or something ridiculous. But if everything's coming in normal, amateurs, even without the flexibility, can go down and forward through the target. Something like bowling, they can go that way. But back here, they really can't. You can't get them to. You're not going to take somebody that's, I don't care what age they are. They could be 20s and be great shape and all that. And if their body doesn't want to move right, you're not going to put them into Justin Rowe's backswing or whoever's got the model backswing, which we know we don't really believe in all that anyway. But you're not going to have them look like a model at the top of their swing. I don't care if they're 20, 30, 40. If they have severe muscular limitations because of the chi blocks, just the body doesn't want to go that way, so you can't fight it. You have to just work within what they have. And I think that's what the Tai Chi is. If you do a Tai Chi or yoga class, you know as well as I know, you can't go in there. You're not going to have somebody that comes in there that's in their 70s that hadn't worked out in 25 years that can do the same movements or even the same function as a yoga instructor. They might be a quarter of that when they start. They may never get to that level. They don't have to. If they just get just 1% better than what they started each day than where they were, that's the whole goal.
Yeah. And the other way I'll show that to people, as far as keeping the spine erect and learning how to turn around your body, versus trying to go steep and lose your spine.
Yeah, trying to tilt and turn.
I'll hit one off the knees and show them, hey, you don't need height, you don't need width, as long as you know how to turn.
Well, and also that's timing. So that teaches you hand-eye timing, because if you don't know, you can be on your knees all day, and if you don't know how to swing, like you've seen people that can't even touch a ball and hit you with a driver, because they have no idea what they're doing, the handle of the club and the head of the club. So you're also teaching not only stability and body, but you're also teaching with that timing, because you can be on your knees all day long and whiff all day long if you don't understand how to use the hands and the club head correctly, right?
True.
So it's 2 for 1.
Basically. 2 for 1.
Yeah, it's a good one. Also flexibility, because when you're on your knees, it's stretching those rotational muscles around the spine, the transverse abdominis as well, the chest. You name every muscle that's designed to rotate and stretch, and you're going to hit that.
Should I try one?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
was bombed. Nice shot. That's perfect. So we ended on that. I think that's enough, right? You got anything else you want to share, or is that good?
I think that's great.
I
Good
do
stuff.
too. I thought it was a good session there.